Okay, let's take a look. We showed you the Metal BBS yesterday, and today let's take a look at what it looks like to program, to write modules for Metal. We do that by using a text editor in our ProTerm application. So we're going to start up ProTerm. There it is. And we're going to go into our file commands, and we are going to, actually, no, I guess we're going to go into, is it edit? Yeah, then Apple O for open. We're going to go down to Metal. And let's take a look at our config, Metal config. Open that. Alright. So this is our Metal config. Actually, I'm going to speed this up a bit, just so we're not so doggone slow. Alright. So our Metal config, I forget if we hold shift, we can go, no, is it control? Is it Apple? Yeah, Apple key goes all the way up fast. Alright, so this is the Metal config file. This is how you configure the different things in your Metal BBS on the Apple II computer. So anything outside the file starts and files end line is comments, or is ignored, I should say. So startup is when Metal first starts. You're going to set what script it runs at startup. And so this one is going to run the file called startup in our prefix number 1, which will show that we've set a little later down. If there's a space in front of the line, it's ignored. So this is basically a line that's been commented out. But this is the exec module. This is what is started and ran before the actual startup. Startup is what runs when the BBS starts or is restarted. The exec module is the first thing that's run when Metal itself is started before it runs the BBS code. SIB directory, I forgot what SID stands for, but it's just your compiled files directory, because Metal actually compiles into bytecode your script so that it runs faster than it would if it was trying to interpret the scripts. On an Apple II that's running at 2 gigahertz, 2.4 gigahertz, or even 1 gigahertz on an 2E or a 2C, would be pretty slow. This is what clock driver you're using, and everything over here on the side that you see over here is your possible drivers that you can use. So GS clock, if you're running this in an Apple GS, Apple II GS, you're going to use GS clock. Over here you have no slot clock. You have the Thunder clock. I believe that is something that is a card that you can put in an Apple IIe, because Apple IIe didn't come with a clock. Then you've got ProDOS clock. That could be probably a 2C. No clock at all. Serial Pro clock, ZRAM clock, Southern clock. So all these were different clock cards or built-in clocks of whatever Apple computer you were running. Printer driver, slot 1 printer. Okay, most of the time though, I never printed from the BBS, so I always had no printer loaded. It would start faster without that in there. Or you could have a parallel printer card or a slot 1 printer. Yeah, see, so like this one's commented out. This is what I had, was no printer. And then there was a super serial card printer, and I think there must have been a driver that Tony Diaz modified to work in some setup he had, so now we have the Tony printer. or maybe T.C. Wilson did that for him. I'm not sure, but yeah, that was a special printer for Tony. For modems, no modem, like I'm using now. I got no modem on this, if you can use for a while I used to run this on an Apple II GS with a null modem cable connected between the GS and my PC, and then using software on the PC to allow incoming calls. So I used the null modem driver for that. Or if you're just running any generic modem would be pretty much any modem out there. Okay, modem quit type for US Robotics, you would choose USR. For blind, it's for all others. I think US Robotics had to have a special code sent, or it sent back a code or something like that for hangups and stuff like that. Modem port, GS port. Of course, that's what I use mainly because I always ran my BBS on. I had two Apple II GSs back in the day. One was my main computer that I did all my stuff on, and the second one, it was actually a Apple IIe case with a GS motherboard inside of it that ran the BBS. So I always used the GS port, or there was the GS port DSR. Then there's the C2, the Apple IIc port, Super Serial port, and the TC Wilson port. Not sure what that was. Probably something TC needed for his setup. Alright, so these the command clear result map would clear all the codes and their respective baud rates from the buffer, and then you would do the add to result map with the modem code and the baud rate that it signified. And so you could see all the different ones that were possible here, but since I have this set up in an emulator with no modem, I've just got them all commented out here. Disabled by moving them, by putting spaces in front of them. So this is... I think, I don't remember why I put the asterisks in there, unless Metal didn't understand. I think it thought 24,000 was actually 2,400, and so I had to put the asterisks in there to fix that. But okay, so now our modem init string, and we would change this depending on what modem we had. This is what actually initializes the modem when Metal first starts up, and then the modem auto is your auto answer string. Told the modem what to do when the phone rings, how many times to let it ring before it picked up, that kind of thing. Modem reset, most of the time it was ATZ. Modem hang up, this is the command that Metal would send to the modem to tell it to hang up. ATH was hang up, and then S0 equals 0 stood for something. So to go off hook, ATH1, and we use going off hook like if we're going to do maintenance or we're playing around with the BBS locally and we don't want the phone to ring, we want it to sound like it's busy to somebody who tries to dial in, we would hit the command and Metal would tell the modem to go off hook, so anybody tried to call in would get a busy signal. Okay, modem gen carrier, answer now, go into wait carrier. That's like if you heard it ring and for some reason maybe the BBS didn't pick it up right away or something, you could hit a button and tell Metal to pick up the phone and answer. Alright, I don't know what all of these are. There's a escape code 1 and escape code 2. The +++ always put the modem into escape code, and then you could send it the commands while it was in escape mode. So you +++, wait 1 second, boom, the modem would go into command mode, and then you could send it various commands. Not sure, ATE0V0, I have to look them up. I forgot what all those things mean. Port speed, this is the port speed that your computer can handle. GS was the only one that could go up to 38.4 and 57.6. I think the others could go up to 19.2, and that was about it. Modem port lock, no. Modem speed we had set for 2400. I guess that was the maximum speed of your modem at the time. Modem comm lock, yeah, leave these alone. Not sure what they do. Maximum retries before giving up and assuming a number of times to retry a modem command before giving up and assuming it took. Modem ring help. Set that to yes if your modem is having trouble answering the phone. Not sure what it did, but I never had to use it. Leave that alone. That was your DCD. Video. This is your video emulation. I've always seen it at PTSD map. There was also ANSI map and TTY map and stuff like that. I never used ANSI map, but I think that changed PTSD. Tried to emulate ANSI from PTSD characters. Not sure how well it worked. These were your memory drivers. So on your 8-bit Apples, I use VMH 8 or 64. The GS, we could use any of these. I think there was just more memory room for your video there. Your cursor, this is what your cursor looked like to a BBS caller. The N, you have the N for normal, M for mouse text, I for inverse, and then what character. So like if you wanted a open Apple character for your cursor, you could just put the M there, and then in quotes put the capital A or small a. I don't know if it mattered, but then you had the actual cursor on the screen would be an open Apple character. Sysinfo 255. Don't remember what that was. Had something to do with the protocol. Zero nulls, carriage return plus line feed yes, all this stuff. Edit justified none. Word wrap on, prompt, all that good stuff. Okay, so here's the messages. If you remember the other video, when I hit Apple C to chat, it said that sysop is chatting with you, and when we left, it said the sysop has left the space. That text that is configurable right here. And also, there were times when a caller would need you to do something, maybe give them more access or something like that. So you didn't want them to see what you were doing, so you would hit Apple, I believe it was L for local in, and basically they would see the messages, sysop has taken control, please wait, and then they wouldn't see anything else. That you could do everything, but it wouldn't get sent out the modem, so the caller could not see what you were doing. So you could go into maintenance and change their access and whatever it is you needed to do. And then when you were all done, you get back to the place where they were at, or wherever, just back to the main menu, I guess, and hit Apple L again, and they would see the message returning control to you. So they would know you're done, and they could continue. Now you saw the path variables up top, 1/startup, stuff like that. This is where you set those. Path 1 was a folder called IEBS, and that's where your plain text scripts are kept. And we'll go look at one of those in a little bit. And so then you have your system folders and menus, and path 4 was your network folder. So anything that had to do with networking was in there. And networking, by networking I mean dialing out to another BBS, exchanging data and stuff like this, exchanging data and emails, messages, that kind of thing. Usually that happened once a day. If you were a member of FutureNet, is what we called it, you could dial out. Your system would automatically dial out and call to its designated host machine or peer machine, whatever you wanted to call it, and exchange data back and forth. And so I could send an email on my local BBS in California, and send it to somebody in Ohio, and it would get there within the next day, depending on the schedule of call-outs and stuff like that between computers. All right. So yeah, we've got a command create directories here. Create any of the above directories that don't exist. Free chat, yes. Just means that when you are chatting with somebody online, if your BBS is defined with a time limit, like a lot of times, some BBSs had 30-minute time limits, some had 60 or 90. I never had a time limit on mine. But if you were chatting with the user, then that time would not count against their time limit. Okay. Some more stuff that we really never messed with. And then you got your file ends. So that's the end of the config file for Metal. Let's see, what do I gotta do to close this? File. Close. Okay. Now let's go and open another one. Okay. Well, we saw a little bit of the Hangman program yesterday. Actually, now let's not mess with Hangman right now. Let's go into the IEBS and let's go into the startup. Host main startup. There it is. And your source files, that's what the .s means at the end, is it means source. It's a plain text file. So we go in here, we can open that up, and let's go all the way up to the beginning again. So Apple up. We're going to go up real fast. Alright, so this is FutureVision. FutureVision runs in M.E.T.A.L. M.E.T.A.L is the BBS engine, so to speak, the compiler, the interpreter, whatever you want to call it, the engine, kind of like VBScript runs in the VBS engine on a PC. Written by Joshua Thompson. Here we're defining our get mode as 1, so that we don't have to say get 1 every time. This clears all the variables. Well, clear is the label here, and global means you can go directly to it if you call this script from a different script. Clear vid is basically clear the screen, and then clear caret, reset memory tracks, and blah blah blah, clears everything. Here we're doing some various clock commands. We're setting the clock to 0 so that we can time how long the user's been online, stuff like that. Modem 1 equals 1, modem 1 equals 0. I don't know what we're doing there. Something about, resetting the modem. Might have to pull out all the documentations, but a lot of stuff going on here. And years ago, I used to be intimately familiar with all this. Here in this line, we're creating channel map, and I think this has something to do with, because it's in the 4 folder, it's got something to do with networking. And then we set, right here we're manually setting our prefix number 15 to prefix number 4, and then FVNet public. So that's another network thing. Prefix 13 is going to be the same as prefix 15, so anything with a bang or a exclamation point, that denotes a comment. So you've got your command, and then the comment is no home directory for now. So disable showing invisible files, enable lowercase file name translation. Okay, good on that. A lot of cool commands like file size. I got to say, this M.E.T.A.L language was pretty advanced for its day. I mean, compared to what its competitor was, or what it was created to compete against GBBS. And T.C. Wilson, he created MACOS, which was modified ACOS, because GBBS ran on ACOS, and it was a similar language, except it didn't have arrays, and there's a lot of things it didn't have. And TC, he built, he took ACOS, and I don't know if he disassembled it and modified it, or if he just wrote it from the ground up, but he wrote MACOS, and there was a big hullabaloo about the whole thing, so he scrapped it, started over, came out with M.E.T.A.L. couple years later, maybe a year later, however long that was. But there was one big BBS that used to run on Makos. I actually ran it for a while. It was called Pepsi, and it was the P in Pepsi stood for PTSE, and it was a heavily PTSE'd out BBS that had all kinds of cool little text graphics and stuff in it. But so basically, this is the code for the BBS, and you can go in there and write your own programs and your own stuff that you wanted to do. Now Moses was a file transfer module for FutureVision. Here's your file commands. We're going to open number 1. This is almost like BASIC, at the time. Open number 1, input, close. All kinds of cool little stuff here. Now let me see if I can close this. No, what is the close command here? Emulator close is oh, that's right, W. So let's open up another one. If we can go to IEBS, and we'll go Hangman. Open. Alright, so now you see here where at the bottom it says include standard subs. The dot include was kind of like a C language in that you could include other source files in this one, and then it would just all be compiled as a single component. So let's go back up to the top. Up arrow. Alright, so I originally wrote it, then TC modified it. I'm not sure what he did. And then this other guy, Joshi, EMT, he modified it as well. But I like what they say here. Please note that the code is sloppy as hell since it was written by about 3 or 4 different people. Terry, TC, Darren, etc. It's a mess, but it does work. And there's one other comment in this code here that I had to laugh at. But I also understand what they were doing, or what they were saying. And if I can find it real quick, I'll show it to you. But here's the options. Like when you're looking at the menu and you're supposed to hit something. Get I is to get that key press, and then it's going to compare I against some letters here to see what it is you want to do, and so then you can then it'll jump to those labels. Or those routines to do what it needs to do. But see here, this is TC's talking. I recognize this. I didn't do this. This was TC. Let's be a bastard and rearrange the words. Simply swap them 40 times to make things real interesting and to keep people from passing wordless. Back in the day, I guess people actually did that. To me, it wouldn't be worth my time. But I know that's TC's wording there. Let's see if I can find the other comment. Oh no, you're dead. Okay. Yeah, see, half the code is for just plain text. The other half is for PTSD, and that's why you see, oh no, you're dead there twice. One for plain text, and one for PSE. See, now here you see some of the PSE characters into play here, and this is all for generating the gallows in Hangman. Okay, so you can see this is the plain text gallows right here with the Hangman on them. So check to see if users kick them out if they have let them play. If not, okay. I wonder if I'm going to find it, or if this is a version that didn't have it. High scores. Press return. Hangman update complete. This is not. Yep. All right. Here's something else too. Look, if 32, if estimate, he says his command is go to yabba dabba, and here it is. So he didn't feel like creating a meaningful label name down there. Yep. I'm gonna have to. Let's see if I can find. Where is it? Oh, right here. I was using the wrong. Select all, cut, copy, paste, line format. What? You mean this doesn't have find in it? It should. No. Yeah, it's in the wrong menu. Not what I'm used to. FEC. Let's just see if we can find that. Yeah, here we go. This is it here. He commented out, and this is my bad coding back in the day, but either TC or Damon commented out these 3 lines of code here because they couldn't figure out what it did, and they left this comment here. And I sympathize because I look at the code now and I don't know what it's doing. So, anyways, that is some of my code modified by a couple other people, and the game actually works really well. That brings back a lot of memories. But anyways, so that's what Metal BBS looks like from the code level. One thing I want to show you is that you see all these EXTs. These are called externals, and what these are is these are assembly language modules. They're not text. They're compiled from assembly language into, or machine language, whatever you want to call it, into binary files. You know, like an executable on a PC. And Metal, or I want to say more like a DLL. A class library or something like that, in that you created this binary executable, and it had to have a header on it so that Metal could load it and call it properly. And so part of that header would be a integer number that would be used as its external number. So here, external number 128, and I know that was the window creator. So that would basically, what that would do is that would take your input. 23.1 would be the starting position, and then 32.14 would be the width and height. And then FBI there is the I believe that would be the some sort of command to tell what kind of text it was, and then the text itself. So so here we're creating like 4 different windows and showing you different things, but that's cool. Anyways, so I'm gonna end this here, and you know, that this is what the meat and potatoes of the Metal, or Metal BBS was. And you didn't have to use FutureVision. FutureVision is just written by Joshua Thompson as the default. When you get Metal, it comes with FutureVision. Some people didn't use FutureVision. I mean, they wrote their own BBS from ground up using Metal. And I highly modified FutureVision, put a lot of PSE stuff in it, but all that stuff got lost years ago. So what I'm running now is just your plain vanilla FutureVision, and so I haven't done much modifications to it. But I still plan on adding games and getting Hangman to let me play my own words so that I can show it to you. But anyways, that's it, and we'll keep making videos about this when I think of other interesting stuff to do. I still definitely want to get some games in there and start playing, doing some let's plays on the old Metal BBS. So until next time, we'll talk at you later.